Hey guys, it's Jass, and today I'm going to be going over a little example of what I'm looking for on Gex in combination with File and Profile to make a trading decision. So in this example, it's a little bit before London close. We've come up to this level. We've just had this kind of bizarre straight up rally. We slammed into major positive at 78, and it's also happens to be the edge or the top end of the volume profile, right? Now, here you kind of have two choices, right? Either you're looking for some entry to join what looks like a breakout, right? And then you're looking to go up. And on GexBot, in that case, it would be okay, we get over 78, we get over that peak of long convexity, and then we have a clear target, which is at 150. So we see this positioning, and that's what we're looking to either trim or flatten or what have you, right? The other choice you have is to fade it, right? So you're fading the edge of distribution. You're saying, okay, well, this is peak long convexity. Now I'm expecting us to, return, maybe bounce a little bit, return, and then your runners maybe down to major negative at 928. So that's kind of the path that I'm in my head whenever I see some position like this is the path that sort of emerges in my head, right? So you have areas where there are transitions between positive and negative, and these usually give you either ideally you're adding to your position, right? But it can be places where you trim, say you just fade major, you go back to this position at 38, and then you take your core off, and then you maybe try to ride your runner down to major negative, right? uh, Now in the context of that, which way do we pick, right? Do we pick the breakout or do we pick the fade? Now, usually I'm thinking about, a number of things, right? So it's Tuesday. It's not a Friday, right? Fridays you can kind of get a little bit more loose with things, but it's just a Tuesday. It's pretty quiet. There's no data. Um, we're waiting for tech earnings after the close. If you're looking at initial balance, it's just ranging action, right? There's no one here. It's just people fading the edges, going between your HVNs and just like ping ponging back and forth, right? Okay, so really the odds are, either you were lucky and you snag this long and then you exit here, right? And you decide to just flatten, or you're looking to actively short this, right? Now, I think for both long and shorts, you have sort of the same pivot in this example, which is IBH, which is at 44. Um, Now, I think, obviously this is a bit of hindsight, but if you were looking for that trend continuation, you just did not have a good entry. Like you maybe try to go long here and then it's doing this wiggling thing, right? Um, no, and you don't have a good place to set your stop, or you're getting chopped up, right? Or you're trying to short, and usually, it's hard to short off. In this case, you might think that, okay, well, if major positive is max convexity for longs, then maybe I take an active short against it, right? But what I found is that generally, major positive or major negative, they're really best for taking your core off when you're heading towards the level, right? So if you're long and you're coming into major positive, it's better to trim. Or if you're short and you're hitting major negative, it's better to trim. That just seems to be a lot more effective than trying to actively fade against the level. Now, in this example, right, we have IBH, but we also have this guy here at 39. So there is actually someone who is actively short here on GexSpot. And this is where, you can generally look for some entry where it's some sort of retrace, right? Like whether you're looking for an impulse high, some sort of quick pullback where you can see buyers or shorts getting caught, um, and then trying to enter off of that, right? So in this case, if you're trying to short, maybe you wait for us to get underneath 39, and then you wait for the pullback, you join this guy, and then your core positioning, maybe you just try to traverse this distribution, this positive Gex area to loot 20k, which is fucking tiny. But then that also forms sort of the upper end of this pullback, as you can leave the rest of your shorts down to ideally 928, which then ends up being the LOD. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Thanks for watching. I hope to do a few more of these, and that was my first one, so please bear with me. Be trying to make more of these, and hopefully it provides some value to you guys.